Alrighty, so the first thing we're going to do for this fly is we're going to add down a nice thread base. Wrap that to the back. And this fly, man, it's caught me some really good fish. I don't know what it is about this pattern, but we were fishing this river out in Utah that's got some really big browns in it. And we saw this tiny little surface. It looked like a small trout, just kept like nibbling the surface. Couldn't figure out what it was feeding on. We threw all types of like other emerger patterns, and it wasn't until I actually tied on this fly did I actually catch it. But yeah, this fly, it works really good. I really like this pattern. Now we're going to add in just a little bit of pheasant tail. And the back of this fly is really just tying a pheasant tail nymph. The cool thing too is that this fly ever like sinks under the water or like just won't float anymore, it still fishes like a nymph does. But I like it when it rides. I like to see the fish come up for it. We're going to add these fibers in. Just got to get all the tips to line up straight. It's always the most annoying part working with these fibers is just trying to get it to line up straight. I like to lay it on, and I do some loose wraps. And then that allowed me to slide it forward and get kind of the length I want. Right there. And then I'm tying them on these like super sharp, they're in these moonlet hooks. They fish really, really well. But we're going to tie that on, clamp it down, get a nice little base going. And then I'm going to find my wire. We're going to use some copper wire on this fly, just real thin stuff. Don't want it too thick. I know I've got some in here somewhere. I got everything ready, but I forgot to get the copper wire ready. Come on. Alright, well, I guess for today we're going to use some silver wire. Looks like I actually ran out of copper wire. Oops. Oh, never mind. Found it right here. It was sitting in my pile. This is why you organize your fly tying stuff, so you don't lose things. I am not very organized. Did, however, clean my fly tying desk a few days ago. But we're going to tie in that copper wire. Let's make sure this stays focused. Don't want to lose focus now, do we? Alright, got the copper wire tied in. Then what we're going to do is we're going to use this pheasant tail to kind of create the body. I'll make sure I got all that copper tied in. There we go. So now we're going to, I just do a little knot right here. I got the rotary vise. Makes it super handy when you're wrapping stuff. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of back wrap a little bit and cover up the thread. Twist it up a little bit. And I'm just going to create the body of that fly. Oh man, a fiber broke. Man, my fat fingers can't hold on to this. Time to bring out the hackle pliers. Oh no, I dropped it. It's okay, we can salvage this. Just keep the tension on there. I didn't actually wrap that as far as I want. I kind of ran out of pheasant tail, so I'll just snip off that excess. And then I'm going to just take a little bit more pheasant tail and just tie that in. I use the same strand of pheasant tail that I used for the tail. I'm going to use that for the body too, but when you run out, you got to add a little bit more in. Clip the tag end off and just tie it in. pretty simple to add more in. It's really not hard. And we'll just wrap that forward all the way to about right there. Looks good. Lock that down and snip off the excess. Okay, now I'm just going to take my hackle pliers and I'm going to wrap the wire up. Like I said, just like a pheasant tail nymph, it is not that different. And the wire is nice because when the fish teeth start to get to this really brittle pheasant tail, it helps protect and makes it so that we don't lose. Oh, son of a gun. I hate when that happens. The wire cut into it a little bit. That's okay, we can fix it. Man, I am just struggling all kinds today. It's always whenever I do a live stream, that's when I always like screw stuff up. Normally not this bad, but we should be able to fix that. The wire's holding down most of it. I'm just trimming the strands that broke out. Okay. Got it about right there. Alrighty, now what we're going to do is we're going to add in some deer hair. We're going to take just a smidge of it. Cut that off. And then I'm going to stack this deer hair, make sure all the tips line up nice and even. So just put it in the little stacker. Got the tips. We're going to pinch those. And then we're going to tie them facing this way. Just kind of size it up. 2 loose wraps, and then I just kind of tighten it down. And I like where that's at. So then I'm going to kind of fold them. You just kind of wrap to the eye of the hook. Just make sure you don't fold any of the fibers down. Just like that. Voila. And then now you can do some like tighter wraps going back. I don't do too tighter wraps on here. I do pretty loose. That way it creates, I feel like it creates more of like a pocket of air under there. Helps it float better. Nice thing is deer hair floats really, really well. So then we're going to snip that back part off. And then what we're going to do is tie in our hackle. Now I'm going to use this. This is just some gray hackle right there. I really like this gray stuff. I think the fish like it too. Kind of pluck a little bit of the end off so you got a little bit of a tip. And then I'm just going to tie that in. And of course my thread breaks. It's always when I'm doing a live stream is when I have all the problems. I promise I am not normally this bad, and if this was a normal video I would cut it out, but since it's a live stream, it's all live. Now the cool thing is if you ever want to fix this, you can just grab your tag end, grab your normal end, twist them together a bit, wrap it, couple times, and then you can just twist the line around the new line. And then when you wrap that down, it's going to kind of lock it. And then a couple more securing wraps. And this is why I buy sharp scissors to fix my mistakes. Okay. Got that on there, and this is not going to be a pretty fly. Okay. Got that in there now. Where did I put that hackle? I'm losing everything today. I just had it. I pre-plucked this hackle too before the video to make sure I had the best hackle for this fly. I don't know where I put it. Had it in my hand, must have dropped it. Alright. Guess we'll just grab a new piece of hackle. Oh, never mind. Found it. I'm wearing gray pants, and this gray hackle blended in with my gray pants. Alright, we're going to tie that in. Not going to pull as tight this time so I don't break my thread. Okay, got that tied in. Now I'm just going to add a little bit of yellow dubbing. So I've got this little dubbing box. I'm just going to use this yellow one right here. And I'm going real thin on this dubbing, like really thin. Because you really don't need a lot. And the reason I'm going with such a bright color is I'm going to put glue on it, and then it darkens it. Okay, got that tied on. We'll just work that up to the front, and we're leaving a little bit of space in the eye of the hook. Don't quite want to go all the way to the eye of the hook. And then fold it over. Then now we'll kind of tie to the eye of the hook. Couple wraps, and boom. Then I'm going to add in a little knot to secure it. And then fold that out of the way. Take my hackle pliers. Now we're going to wrap the hackle over that dubbing. But before we do that, I'm going to add down some glue. And this is UV glue. And this is nice because you can control when it dries. But I'm going to put a nice blob of glue right on the top. And what this does is as I wrap, the spine of the hackle is going to fold into that. So then it's going to be more durable because I'll dry the glue around the hackle. So that if a fish bites into the hackle and it kind of breaks it off, it's not all just going to unravel on me. So then I'll just wrap that. Actually, I don't think I'm going to use the Rotary for this. Just hit the camera lens. And back that off a bit. We're going to do a little bit tighter wraps on there. About right there. Then we'll fold up that deer hair. We're going to wrap that nice and secure. And then I'm going to dry that glue before I break off the hackle just in case it comes unraveled. Pop that off. We'll pull everything back. Do a couple more wraps, and then now we're going to whip finish it, and that's the fly. Got that whip finished. You can cut it off. And then I'll add in just a little bit more glue on there. Make can also kind of go through and trim anything up. Like if any of the fibers got caught underneath, I'll go through with the knife and just kind of trim those. Make sure everything folds up real nice. Normally I do a little bit more of a tail, kind of came unraveled there at the end. But yeah, make the tail just like a pheasant tail nymph. Then I'm going to add in a little bit more glue. This time I'm going for the thread. Doesn't take a lot to get on that thread. And then we'll just UV it. And boom. There's our fly. Not too shabby. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. See you in the next one.